What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns welcoming you to the Smuggler's Run Price Prediction Showcase. Okay, so it's that time yet again. We are on the eve of the next update from Grand Theft Auto Online, Smuggler's Run, coming mañana, Tuesday, August 29th. It was only announced just a few days ago, but already we have an idea of what vehicles we can expect in tomorrow's Smuggler's Run update. So, what we're going to do is we're going to play a little game, like I usually do. Whenever I have an opportunity to do the Price is Right themed showcase for vehicle predictions. So this is how it works, in case you guys didn't know. We are going to go over the vehicles we know about, whether we are aware of their name or their real life name. And I'm going to give you my prediction about what I think the price of these vehicles are going to be. It could be right, it could be completely wrong. That's not the point. But you get to play along as well below in the comment section. And here are the rules. Alright, so you cannot use the same exact bid I use. But, Price is Right rules, the closest bid under the official price wins. Any bid that's over the official price loses. But if I say, I bid $900,000 on a vehicle, and you like that bid, you can play the Price is Right strategy and do like $900,000 in one. Like $900,000 in $1. You can go above me by $1 or $100,000 or whatever. So that's pretty much how Price is Right rules works. So the idea is to get the bid closest underneath the actual price, but at the same time you can theoretically overbid me by $1 to get just a little bit closer to whatever the price tag is going to be. So you are welcome to either bid on all these vehicles or some of these vehicles or only the vehicles you are interested in when it comes to Smuggler's Run. By the way, there are two, as we know of, two quote-unquote cars that are possibly coming tomorrow as well. We'll get into that in a moment. Plus, over the weekend, Rockstar has been dropping some Twitter bombs and on Facebook as well regarding a bit more information regarding Smuggler's Run. I would have done videos on that, but I decided to save it for this video as well. Just put it all in one nice, big, neat package. So we have some official names, but like I mentioned, we don't have official names for all these vehicles, so we're going to go with the real-life variants for those vehicles. Now, shout out real quick to the Grand Theft Auto Online Reddit page, and I got a screenshot for you guys to check out, and I have it linked below in the description section. The hard work that the guys did at Grand Theft Auto Online Reddit, coming up with the real-life versions of most of these aircraft coming with Smuggler's Run. That's where I'm going from source-wise. Now, I already knew about a number of these aircraft because I happen to be into, aircraft from the World War II era. A little bit from Korea, not as knowledgeable about Korea, but, because my grandfather served in World War II as a flyboy in the Army Air Corps, I kind of learned a few things about fighter planes and fighter bombers that were flown by the Allies in the Axis. So, I don't claim to be an expert, but I do know a few aircraft that were in the war. So once again, that link to Grand Theft Auto Online Reddit is below in the description section. Props to all those guys for the hard work you did putting together that list for me to use in this video, along with other content creators that have sourced this as well. Now, before we get started, I want to mention a few things based on how my mindset's working regarding the predictions I'm going to lay out for you guys. I'm basing it around several factors. One thing, the current attack aircraft in the game. For example, the Buzzard is $1.75 million. The Savage attack helicopter ranges between $1.9 and $2.5 million, depending on whether or not you accomplish the particular heist mission it unlocks in. The Hydra Vito attack jet ranges between $3 million and $3.9 million. Same rules apply depending on whether or not you already accomplished the heist mission that the Hydra is involved in. So there's a flux price range between some of these vehicles, and it's probably going to be the same thing with what's coming out with Smuggler's Run. Now for the price, I'm just going to go for the lowest bid I can think of. Now these prices may be way higher than what I'm predicting, but I'm going to try and be quote-unquote conservative when it comes to the price tag. And another factor I thought about was the reality that not all these vehicles, but a lot of them are older. Like they're from like different eras, like World War II, Korean War, the Cold War. So that's another thing I thought about, because they're older aircraft. They may not be as expensive as, say, modern fighter jets and modern attack helicopters. So that's something else I thought about, as well as the fact everything else we're going to have to spend for these vehicles. The fact that we're going to have customization, some sort of aircraft workshop, which we may or may not have to pay for. It may come with the hangar. Then again, it may just be like you buy the hangar, but if you also want the aircraft workshop, you have to buy that separately. I mean, it's in the hangar, but you know how it works. Like with the clubhouse, you had a mechanic you could purchase. The office, you could buy your own little garage to work on vehicles or not buy it. The same thing goes for the bunker with the MOC and the vehicle weapons workshop within the vehicle MOC. Okay, you get the idea. Needless to say, there's going to be a lot of add-ons when it comes to the aircraft. You have to buy the hangar, probably a hangar workshop, as well as all the money you're going to drop for like weapons, countermeasures. We know that we're going to have countermeasures now, according to one of the tweets from Rockstar, as well as customization and upgrades for the aircraft. So that's why I'm trying to be as conservative as possible with these prices, because I think that they won't be as high, because they don't have to be as high, because we're already going to spend money on all this other junk. Hangar, aircraft workshop, along with all the customization at the aircraft workshop as well. And the fact that there's so many aircraft coming with the Smuggler's Run update. I mean, there's like at least 9 or 10, maybe more, coming tomorrow. And I'm leaving off one of the aircraft because I'm not too sure if it's like an upgraded version of the Titan, or it's simply a brand new aircraft that resembles the Titan, this big giant 4-engine plane. I looked at it in the screenshots. I went back and forth, like, is it like a Titan custom, or is it a brand new aircraft as well? I don't know. So just to be safe, I'm going to leave that off my prediction list, because in some of the screenshots, we see other vehicles that's already in the game. Like we see a Cuban, we see a Luxor, obviously we see the Titan. So that could very well imply that we can take almost any aircraft in the game that's already owned by Pegasus and put them in the hangar as well, and perhaps even customize those vehicles. So just to be safe, we're not going to include the Titan Custom or whatever that aircraft happens to be. It could be a brand new big 4-engine plane. Then again, it might not be. All right, with all that out of the way, 5 years later, let's get to it finally with my vehicle price prediction showcase. I had a lot to get out of there first. Okay, so we got that out of the way, so let's get to it, shall we? First off, we're going with this little sports plane, the Alpha Z1, as mentioned via Twitter. And it very much resembles another sports plane in the game, our stunt plane, if you will, the Mallard. And that's where I'm going to go with my price tag. Now, the Mallard is currently $250,000 in Grand Theft Auto Online. And I get the feeling that the Alpha Z1 is not going to be used for like attacking or fighting. It might be. You might be able to put weapons on the Alpha Z1. But I think its primary purpose, if we go by the tweet. So let's see what the tweet said regarding the Alpha Z1. Okay, a smuggler's getaway dream with 4-cylinder engine that's routinely fatal top speeds. Okay, so I think if we go by the photo of the Alpha Z1, it doesn't look like it has any weapons on it. Then again, it might. I mean, underneath the engine, it looks like there's like a hole. It could be like an air pocket. Or it could be a place where you could put a gun if you want to. I don't know. But let's just assume that the Alpha Z1 is going to have no weapons on it. But it's going to be extremely fast. It's going to be great for like doing like drop-offs of cargo. All right, so for my prediction for the Alpha Z1, I'm going with $500,000. Next, we move on to the Tula. Now, the Tula was featured Saturday, I believe, in the tweet by Rockstar. The Tula, a quad-prop monster, is the ultimate multi-purpose aircraft for high-volume smugglers. And we also saw images of the front of the Tula throughout the trailer for Smuggler's Run. It's the plane that is also apparently aquatic, but it's so much more than aquatic. It's also a VTOL. So you can fly like a normal plane, you can land it on water, plus you can hover it like a VTOL, similar to the Hydra. So this aircraft also has weapons on it, which makes it a very interesting gunship. I am very fascinated by the Tula. Now, my price tag prediction for the Tula, despite the fact that it can do all this stuff, because I think it's still going to be kind of slow and probably not very maneuverable, but it can do a lot of things. It can fly like a normal plane, it can go in the water or out of the water, and it can hover with VTOL capabilities. My prediction for the Tula is $1.75 million. Now, this little aircraft is one I'm not really feeling, but bear in mind, I felt the same way about the Oppressor, the rocket bike, and it's easily one of everyone's favorite vehicles. Well, almost everyone, unless you're on the receiving end of the Oppressor, but it's a lot of fun. I was surprised how much fun the Oppressor is. The same thing could happen with the Ultralight, but I cannot see Rockstar putting such a heavy price tag on the Ultralight, which is why I'm giving my prediction for the Ultralight at $750,000. Now we're moving on to this little bitty one-engine helicopter. Now this thing is actually based on a real-life helicopter, and once again, thanks to all the peeps over at Grand Theft Auto Online Reddit for doing most of this research. And it's based on, I think, a helicopter company from South America called Sissair. If I mispronounced that, I apologize. The model number is CH7B. So I think this is going to be a very fast helicopter, and it obviously has the ability to have a gun on it, at least a gun, so you can at least have some, offensive capabilities. But this is going to be kind of like a motorcycle in the sky. Yeah, I know, we already technically have a motorcycle in the sky, the Oppressor. But what I'm saying is, this thing may be fast, it may be very maneuverable, but it's going to be very unforgiving. Like, if you hit something, I think it's over. Like, you manage just to hit something going at full speed, boom, explosions, you die. So it's going to be a very, fast, a very, maneuverable and deadly little helicopter that can do some damage, but mostly to the pilot if the pilot is not careful. So I don't think this is going to be a very expensive aircraft. Plus, it can only seat up, obviously, I think one person. My prediction for the CH-7B, this small little one-man attack helicopter, is $1.1 million. Now we're moving on to this two-seater plane. And what's interesting about the two-seater plane is originally I thought that it might be a World War II plane. But then I came across the, like I said, the Grand Theft Auto Online Reddit article that's linked once again below in the description section. And they reminded me of a two-seater trainer aircraft that's used in South America. Brazil, for example, they use it. And they not only use it as a trainer, they actually use it, during missions and stuff in South America. So the Tucano, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Or some people say it could be a cross between the Tucano and the Texan II. Now, I think the Texan II was an older aircraft, but the same thing. A two-seater, single-engine plane that obviously has military capabilities. Now, if you go by the artwork of Smuggler's Run, you can see it's obviously doing some work, dropping some bombs. By the way, we're going to have the ability to purchase bombs in the game. I don't know if it's going to be for all aircraft, but I can imagine some aircraft will have the ability to drop bombs, including perhaps even the Tucano. All right, so my prediction for the Tucano two-seater single-engine warplane is $1 million. And obviously, I don't know the official name of the Tucano or the CH-7B or the Ultralight. We're just going with the real-life names for the time being. Next, we are moving on to an aircraft I actually was wrong about the other day. Now, yes, the Nazis and the British at the very end of World War II did have early fighter jets, but it was not a fighter jet. that I was talking about. It was actually a rocket-powered jet, and I can't believe I forgot about that. I got so much junk upstairs. Sometimes, those member berries are like buried deep down inside in the abyss. All right, so it was a rocket-powered jet that the Nazis were working on. It only downed a few aircraft, though. It wasn't exactly a success. More of an act of desperation near the end of the war, as, it was all closing in, with the Allies coming and the Soviets coming from the other side, bringing about the end of the Nazi Empire. But this was one of their experiments, the Messerschmitt Me-163 Comet. So I get the idea, the feeling that this plane, this jet, is, since it's rocket-powered, might be limited in its burst of speeds. It may have like an average speed, which is maybe okay, but like with the rocket bike and the rocket Voltic, which has the ability to, fire the rocket to go faster, I think the same thing will happen with the quote-unquote Me-163 Comet, or whatever it ends up being called in Smuggler's Run. So I think that you'll be able to fire the rocket, the Comet will be able to go faster temporarily, and you won't be able to go faster again until that rocket bar fuels back up. So it's going to be a very interesting plane where you're going to have to pick and choose when you choose to use the rocket aspect of it. But then again, maybe you can just go completely crazy fast in the Comet, but it doesn't maneuver very well and it doesn't have that many armaments. So it'll be interesting to see how the Comet is going to play out in Grand Theft Auto Online. But I personally do not see this being a very good plane, but then again, I could be completely wrong. My prediction for the Messerschmitt Me-163 Comet, as it's called in real life, is going to be $1.25 million. Now we're moving on to another World War II aircraft. Now, this particular aircraft could be based off a few bombers from World War II. Now, over at Grand Theft Auto Online Reddit, it is, I guess, the consensus that it's based off a passenger plane / like bomber from World War II, the Beechcraft Model 18. Though I could see a little bit of resemblance to, say, a B-17 or maybe even a B-25, but it's obviously not as big. But still, there's a similar build. But anyways, we'll just say it's based mostly off the Beechcraft Model 18, just for sake of that argument. All right, so I also don't think this is going to be a very fast aircraft. It obviously has the ability to put a gun on top, so you can have a gunner to protect you. And I think that from the trailer, we pretty much are guaranteed to have the ability to have cluster bombs in the Model 18. So my price prediction for the Model 18 Beechcraft light bomber is $1.5 million. Next, we are going up to the Korean War era, and this is a fighter jet that a lot of people are very excited for. The early MiG, the MiG-17. It could be a MiG and a cross between that and the Sabre from the Korean War. There could be a little bit of mixing and matching there because Rockstar likes to do that. They like to take several different vehicles and mix it together into their own version. So it could be a cross between the MiG and the Sabre from the Korean War era. So we did find out the official name of this aircraft, and it's also going to have, let's see, countermeasures as well. I think that's going to be something that most of the aircraft you'll have the ability to add countermeasures to in the aircraft workshop. But its official name is now the V-65 Molotov, and it's flying above the skies of Los Santos equipped with homing missiles as well as drop tanks. And it's possible that today Rockstar drops a few more of these tweets and Facebook photos, pics, and revealing the names of some of these other aircraft that, as of right now, I don't know the names to. So just be on the look on that from Rockstar's official Twitter and Facebook pages, FYI. But okay, so we know the name of this MiG aircraft. It's going to be called the V6 Molotov. And I think it's going to be a very fast aircraft, but I have trouble believing that it's going to be able to keep up with, quote-unquote, modern attack jets, like, for example, the Laser that's already in the game. But I still think it's going to be an efficient and deadly aircraft, and particular fighter jet that a lot of people are looking forward to. So the question about the drop tanks is the fact that in Grand Theft Auto Online, we don't need fuel. So I don't know what other capacity the drop tanks will serve. Do we use them as weapons, kind of like to drop, I don't know, like firebombs on somebody? Or by dropping the drop tanks, does it allow the Molotov to go faster in the sky? I guess we'll find out Tuesday, right? So my prediction for the V65 Molotov is going to be $2.5 million. Now we're moving on to two aircraft that are making a triumphant return to Grand Theft Auto Online. Two particular aircraft that I have been asking for, and others as well. First off, the Hunter. And that's what I'm calling it because that's what it's been called in previous Grand Theft Autos, the Hunter. This badass, sexy helicopter based mostly off of the Apache, maybe a little bit off the Comanche, which was an attack helicopter that was planned and developed, but eventually it was scrapped, I think, because of money. It was too expensive even for the U.S. military, so they decided to stick with the Apache attack helicopter. But anyways, the Hunter attack helicopter has been around, throughout a lot of the 3D era. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I think it was even added in Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, as well as Vice City Stories. And this is definitely an attack helicopter that we have been wanting in Grand Theft Auto Online. It was even teased in some of the fake trailers of movies in Grand Theft Auto 5. So the Rockstar's been teasing us with the Hunter for going on 4 years now. And finally, they're going to stop teasing us and give us what we've been crying and begging and pleading for so long now, the Hunter attack helicopter. My prediction is $3 million for the Hunter attack helicopter. I think it's going to be much higher than the Buzzard and the Savage, so that's why my prediction for the Hunter is $3 million. Hopefully, it won't be any higher, but chances are, knowing Rockstar, it probably will be. And of course, the attack aircraft that I'm really, really excited about because, like I mentioned, my grandfather, World War II flyboy, second lieutenant in the Army Air Corps, this was his plane. And I've loved this plane my entire life. It's such a beautiful, sexy plane. Plus, it was fun in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The Rustler warplane, a.k.a. the P-51D Mustang. And I'm going ahead and calling it the the Rustler warplane, because, like I said, that's what it was called in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Rockstar may change the name of it, but why? What's the point? The aircraft is already established in Grand Theft Auto, so just keep it as is with Rustler. So I'm calling it Rustler warplane. My prediction for this awesome World War II attack craft is going to be $2 million. Because I think it's going to be fast, I think it's going to be deadly, but at the same time, because of the fact that it is a World War II aircraft, even at its time was one of the best. You put that up against the Korean war jets, like the quote-unquote MiG, also now known as the V65 Molotov in Grand Theft Auto Online, or the Hydra, or the laser jets. I mean, yes, in the trailer it showed the Rustler taking down lasers, but at the same time, I guess I'm kind of a stickler for reality and the fact that a horse would be no match against, say, a tank. Even if you had a really good horseman on it with a pistol and a sword going up against an Abrams tank, who would win that fight? Obviously, the Abrams tank. I'm just saying. The same thing goes for the Rustler, but still, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to fly around the skies of southern San Andreas, blasting fools left and right with the Rustler warplane. So my prediction once again for the Rustler warplane, a.k.a. the P-51D Mustang, $2 million. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to include the other big four-engine aircraft because I don't know if that's going to be like a Titan Custom or is it going to be a brand new four-engine aircraft. It could be, but I've decided, just to leave that off my price prediction for now. I looked at the images and it's possible it's a brand new aircraft, but I just don't know. So anyways, we've gone on long enough. We do have two more predictions to go. Two vehicles that we do know about that are coming with Grand Theft Auto Online's Smuggler's Run. First off, the car that is confirmed, which was announced, I believe, Sunday, the ozone-burning Grotti Vision, or Vision, or however you pronounce that, is one of the new supercars in Grand Theft Auto Online Smuggler's Run, which I guess means that this may not be the only supercar coming to Grand Theft Auto Online, courtesy of the Smuggler's Run update. Now, this may be the only supercar that we get tomorrow, because the rest will be drip-fed out. Hopefully the Hunter won't be drip-fed. That would suck. It could happen, though. I mean, some of these aircraft could end up being drip fed over the next few weeks or months, which would make me a little salty. Yeah. Especially if it's like the Rustler or the Hunter. Two of the aircraft I'm really, really looking forward to. But anyways, my prediction for this new supercar for the Gradi Vision is $1.9 million. And the final car that I think we pretty much know about comes from the artwork of Smuggler's Run. Now, at first, I thought it was just a Ruiner, but as others have pointed out, the Ruiner is a 4-door, and this car is clearly a 2-door. And some people believe, according to Grand Theft Auto Online Reddit, that it's based off of, I think, an older Ford Escort. But just for fun, I'm going to call it the Ruiner Sport, or the Warner Sport. Did I say Ruiner? I meant Warner. That's what it looks like. It's based off the Warner from the Hipster Update. Anyway, so I'm calling it the Warner Sport because it sounds cool. It may be called something else completely different. But my prediction for the quote-unquote Warner Sport is $650,000. And there you have it. My vehicle price predictions for Smuggler's Run, which is coming in just a few hours from now. And yes, I will be going over, hopefully, most of the content that's dropping Tuesday morning, depending on, how much it's all going to be. I may have to make some choices depending on which aircraft I think are worthy of being purchased and shown and those that won't be. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow whenever I get up like at 5 a.m. Central Time to start recording that video. I'm looking forward to it because, as you can tell, I'm really into aircraft. I love aircraft. I love flying around Grand Theft Auto Online. It's something that not as many of the fan base likes to do, but I think there is enough of us that are fans of the planes and helicopters and jets in Grand Theft Auto Online, where I think this is going to be a very promising update. So anyways, those are my predictions. Once again, the Alpha Z1, $500,000. The Tula, $1.75 million. The Ultralight, $750,000. The CH-7B one-man little attack helicopter, $1.1 million. The Tucana two-seater trainer warplane, $1 million. The Messerschmitt ME-163 Comet, $1.25 million. The Beechcraft Model 18 light bomber, $1.5 million. The V-65 Molotov, $2.5 million. The Hunter attack helicopter, $3 million. The Rustler World War II warplane, $2 million. The Gradi Vision supercar, $1.9 million. And once again, the Warner Sport, $650,000. Let me know below in the comment section your predictions for some or all the vehicles coming with Smuggler's Run, which is dropping in less than 24 hours from now in Grand Theft Auto Online.